Welcome to another update session from SW Lim & Co. Today, we are going to discuss about the e-Invoice initiative that is recently announced by Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia. We hope this presentation will provide you a better understanding on the implementation and the potential impact on your business. As we may all aware, Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia has recently announced that e-Invoice will be implemented in phases beginning August 2024. E-Invoice initiative will not just be a change in the format of documentation. E-Invoice implementation could potentially affect all your business processes, procedures, and including your business documentation. With the implementation, IRBM or Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia will launch a portal named My Invoice Portal, which is a database hosted by IRBM. All businesses will be affected from business to business, business to consumer, and even business to government. Really? Well, let's find out more in the upcoming slides. For your information, e-Invoice guidelines are now available on LHDN website. This is the workflow that is currently published in the general guideline. You may pause the video or slide to read and understand the given workflow. I will also try my best to summarize the flow in simple terms possible in the next slide. Once e-Invoice is implemented, all sales invoice must be recorded in My Invoice Portal by all the business sellers. The portal or the system will perform a validation and check and make sure that all the compulsory fields are updated. If everything is accepted, the system will then inform both the seller and the buyer. Seller must share the QR code assigned for the particular invoice with the buyer. If there is an error, cancellation can be made with proper justification within 72 hours. What happens after 72 hours? That's right, cancellation will no longer be allowed. However, don't worry. Seller can still create debit note or credit note after the 72 hours time frame. E-invoices can be created two ways. First, through the system integration or through the direct creation inside the My Invoice portal. As highlighted in the workflow, My Invoice portal will perform a check and validation to ensure all the compulsory fields are updated before approving the e-invoice. Hence, it is important for us to know what will be the fields required for smooth implementation. Currently, there are 51 fields listed, but don't worry, not all are compulsory fields. We will go through them by categories. The first category will be the suppliers or the seller's detail. I will not go through the fields for this category because this should be readily available. The next category will be buyer's detail or customer details. This includes the buyer's tax number, buyer's registration number, SST number, and also the email address. So be prepared in the future to request from your customer all this information. The next category is the contact details. This includes the address and contact number for both seller and the customer. The next category is invoice details. There are currently 27 fields allocated to invoice details, but don't worry, some fields are optional. I will not go through the details of the invoice field as they are data that you should already have available. You may read the guide if you are interested to find out more. However, what this means, IRBM will have full itemized view of all your invoices in their database in the future. The next category will be payment details. This includes payment mode, supplier's bank account, payment terms, payment amount, payment date, payment reference number, and bill reference number. All the fields under payments details are also currently listed as optional field in the guideline dated 28 October 2023. However, bear in mind, the requirement may change as we move nearer to the implementation timeline. Hence, be prepared that we may need to collect all this information or input all this information in my invoice portal if these fields are made mandatory. Some of you may think, wait a minute, what if my customers are general public? What if I have a high volume business where most of my customers do not require an e-invoice? Yes, your concerns are valid. Hence, for business to consumer businesses, for example, if you have a retail business, you may create normal invoices on a daily basis. However, you will need to load the aggregate invoices to My Invoice portal on a monthly basis. In the event, if e-invoice is requested by your customer, you will need to issue an e-invoice as according to the workflow. At this point, it is important for me to kindly remind all information provided in this presentation are only an overview of the e-invoice initiative based on the guidelines available to date. Requirements may change as we get nearer to the implementation deadline. Also, please read the specific guidelines for any specific scenarios pertaining to your business. So, in the nutshell, what the initiative overall means. This means, once e-invoice is implemented, My Invoice portal will have a record of all your sales invoice, i.e., a full record of your business revenue. Be prepared to collect all the mandatory details from your customer. Don't forget, all your business expenses also must be supported by e-invoice. That means you will need to request from all your vendors. Be prepared to provide all mandatory details as a buyer to your vendors. There are additional specific procedures for special circumstances, for example, foreign vendors, agent, or distributor. Please download this specific guideline to find out more. If you recall in the introduction slide, I mentioned that e-invoice will be implemented in phases beginning August 2024. So, when will your business be required to implement e-invoice? It will be based on the annual turnover based on your audited account for financial year 2022. You can now pause the video or slide to see where do your business fall into. Hope you agree with me by now that the e-invoice initiative will impact all your business processes, procedures, and documentations. Other than invoicing to customers, your business will also be required to request e-invoice from your supplier as a proof of business expense. Let's take a look at some examples that you need to start considering now as a preparation for the implementation. You may also add more to the list as you think of it. First category, of course, is invoicing. However, there will be many areas under expenses such as commissions, contracts, part-time wages, claims and entertainments, and payment to agents. Will e-invoice be available for those areas? Should part-timers be included in payroll instead? Do your staff and business partners need to be trained on e-invoice requirements? Also, there are special procedures applicable to special circumstances that is already available in this specific guideline. Please download a copy to understand in details. Before I conclude the presentation, I would like to highlight a few items that you could start considering now as a preparation step for the implementation. You could start listing all your vendors that are non-businesses. Example, your business may require part-time workers on the long-term basis. So, going forward, what are the options available? For all your fixed vendor, you can start collecting the compulsory information that you will need in the future, such as their tax information number and SST number, and also their contact details. You can start analyzing your business expenses and check if you need to understand any special procedures to obtain e-invoice. Example, if you use agents all the time or you require the service of foreign vendors. If you do not have an accounting service support, I highly recommend you start to source for a reliable providers now. And importantly, continue to stay updated with the announcement and updates from the authorities and also from your software vendors. Thank you for your attention, and hopefully all the information provided to you are useful. Have a good day. Bye.